Hey, I'm Srini, host and founder of the Unmistakable Creative Podcast and the creator of Maximize Your Output with Mem. In this video, I'm going to show you how to plan a vacation in Mem. Before we get started, make sure you check out the link for our free Building a Second Brain in Mem webinar, which is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'll be sure to include a link in the description below. Now, let's get to the video.
The key to doing something like planning a vacation in Mem is to treat it the same way you would any other project, with tasks, resources, references. And I use a framework that comes from Scott Belsky's book, Making Ideas Happen, which is called the action method. And Scott says that there are three components to every single project. There are action steps, resources, and back burner items. Action steps are exactly what they sound like. They're the concrete tasks that you need to complete. Resources or references are going to be, in this case, things like our confirmation number for the flight we're going to book, for the hotels that we reserve, the places that we want to see. So the first thing we need to do, obviously, is we need to come up with a list of tasks for this vacation to India. So what do we need to do to book a trip to India? Well, the first thing we need to do, obviously, is we need to book a flight. So that's going to be our first task, flight. We need to reserve some hotels. And we probably want to curate a list of tourist attractions we want to see. How do we do all of this inside of Mem? Now that we have our list of tasks, what we're going to do is we're actually going to use Mem Spotlight to bring up all the various things that we need to get into Mem. So the first thing, obviously, we want to do is we want to book our flight. And since this is a trip to India and a ticket to India costs more than $1,000, I'm not actually going to book a flight. I'm going to actually grab an itinerary from one of my old trips here. I'm going to go ahead and get this into Mem using Mem Spotlight. So to do that, you're going to go here. You're going to press Command-Shift Spacebar, and we're going to go ahead and save this to a new Mem. And what we're going to do is we're going to give it a tag that is related to our trip. And in your case, it would be my trip to India. This just happens to be a video example, and we're going to call this my itinerary. And we're going to save it. And what you'll start to see is that all this stuff eventually will start to show up right there in your Mem inbox. Now that we've booked the ticket, let's find some places to stay. So this is a really fancy hotel in a place called Jaipur. Priyanka Chopra got married here. It apparently costs $600 a night to stay here. I've always wanted to stay here. So this is what I'm going to add to my list of potential places to stay. Again, what we're going to do is we're going to give it the tag India, and we're going to give it another tag, places to stay. And then finally, obviously, we don't want to sit around in a hotel doing nothing. And you'll see again, it appears there inside of Mem Spotlight. So let's say that we want to go see some things in India. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to go and see the Taj Mahal. So we're going to save that again as another resource. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to give it the same tag again for our trip to India. But this time we're going to give it another tag, tourist attractions. And we're going to go ahead and save that as well. And you'll see here that it all shows up inside of the inbox. Now let's go back into Mem and see how we can connect all of these resources together for our trip to India. So now that we're back in Mem, you can see here that we have booked a flight. Let's say that we've reserved a hotel and we've created some tourist attractions that we want to visit. And you'll notice that they're actually all right here. You don't actually have to link them from the resources section. So had we had a flight itinerary or an email confirmation and all that stuff, we could have just forwarded here and it would all show up right here. But let's go ahead and just add all of this stuff to our resources section here. We'll go ahead and put our itinerary. Go ahead and put the Taj Mahal, and we will go ahead and add that Heritage Hotel. So in this case, we've just grabbed links from these various websites for the places that we might want to stay and the places that we might want to visit. But if we had the actual reservations, and obviously I'm not going to make a $600 a night hotel reservation or book a $1,000 flight just to demonstrate how to plan a vacation in Mem, unless the founders of Mem want to pay for it. But you can see here that now we have everything we need for a vacation. And that's really all there is to it. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to create a list of all the tasks that you need to complete to plan your trip. Then whatever resources emerge from those tasks, like flight reservations, places that you might want to visit, confirmation numbers, all of that, whether they show up in your email or whether you have them on a web page. You can either use Mem Spotlight to capture them the way that I did in this video, or you can just forward them to Mem and tag them appropriately. And that's the basic overview of how you plan your next vacation in Mem.